Former Union Minister P Chidambaram cannot be arrested by the Enforcement Directorate till tomorrow. That's what the Supreme Court, which is hearing his appeal for protection from the arrest by the agency, said today. The senior Congress leader is already in the custody of the CBI, which arrested him last week. But being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate, the former minister has sought protection from court. So what went on in court today? Mr. Chidambaram's legal team argued that the ED case against him does not stand, since the particular law was not even there when the alleged offence was committed. It also demanded that the Enforcement Directorate produce the transcript of their questioning session with the senior Congress leader, which they say is evidence that he was not being evasive. Sukirti Dwivedi has more from the court.
The arguments that we saw coming from Mr. Kapil Sibal as well as Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who represented Mr. P Chidambaram, is that firstly, the law, the particular sections of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act that are being applied upon Mr. Chidambaram in this case, the lawyers argued that those sections of the law came into being only in July 2009, while the alleged offence took place only in May 2007 when the FIPB clearances or the Foreign Investment Promotion Board clearances for INX Media to receive the foreign funds took place. So while they're saying that the clearances were given in May 2007, the sections of the particular sections of the PMLA Act came into being only in July 2009. So the laws cannot be applied in a retrospective manner. The other important point that they made is that there are certain grounds on which you can't give an anticipatory bail to someone. For example, they are not cooperating with the agency, or there is a likelihood that they may tamper with the evidence. In this case, they are saying that Mr. Chidambaram has answered all the questions that the ED has posed to him, and Mr. Chidambaram's lawyers have also requested the transcripts of all the previous 3 questioning sessions that took place between the ED as well as Mr. Chidambaram, so that it's easier for them to prove, that seems to be the approach, that it's easier to prove to the court later that all of these questions were asked to Mr. Chidambaram and he answered all of them. And the other thing regarding tampering of evidence, Mr. Singhvi said that all of these incidents took place 11 years ago. All of these bank documents, transactions, all of it has been frozen now. So there is nothing really left for Mr. Chidambaram to tamper with. So that question also does not arise. So today, while we saw arguments only from Mr. Chidambaram's lawyers, it's been 1.5 days that the court has been listening to their arguments yesterday as well as today. Tomorrow, the ED has said that it might take up to 4 hours to put all of its counter arguments in response to whatever Mr. Kapil Sibal has been accusing the agency of. So we will see the hearing resume in the Supreme Court tomorrow. And just to add one more thing on a side note is that Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, Mr. Chidambaram's lawyer, has tweeted out a statement from the Chidambaram family saying that there has been a media trial of Mr. Chidambaram. He has established a reputation over the last 50 years as somebody who contributed so much to the country in different forms of when he was at different positions in the government.
And Chidambaram's family has in fact released a statement saying that media is reporting unverified allegations. They say that they are distressed to note that media is reporting completely wild and unsubstantiated allegations. We understand that the motive of the government is to demonize and humiliate Mr. Chidambaram. We are deeply saddened that media is unable to uphold liberty against calumny. We are absolutely confident that ultimately truth will prevail. That's what his family is saying, going on to say that Mr. Chidambaram has been in public life for nearly 50 years and his impeccable honesty contribution can't be wiped out by a campaign of vilification. Our family has enough wealth. We don't seek money in unlawful ways. We are astounded by allegations of properties in multiple countries. We are astounded by the allegations of multiple bank accounts and shell firms. These are chapters plucked out of ghost stories. We challenge the government to produce a shred of evidence. Our appeal to the media is to exercise restraint. That's what his family has said in a statement.